Di ko ni may hatod.
Tinignan mo tanaw ni mga mabiyaan sa mga anak.
Nagstorya naman tanan, di ba? Para naman ni nato.
Pagkasakit sa imong paglangyaw, dili lalim ang imong paglakaw. Tumangkagupol ang mitabuning akong dughan, buot untap kang hawiran. Nganong ang layo nga lapyahan mas gamhanan man kaysa init nga halok o kakos ning adlaw. Gihandong ko ang pagbalik mo ning akong giliran, kay misaad ka nako. Ako ra gyud hangtod sa katumanan, ipaabot ko ang pagbalik mo tungod kay may pasalig ka. Ang milunok nga kamingaw, ang di masukod nga kahawan, dili mapun ang di matambalan ang kasakit, hangtod ni akan nasa kiniran. Ihandom ko ang pagbalik mo ning akong giliran, kay bisaad ka nako. Ako ra gyud hangtod sa katumanan, ipaabot ko ang pagbalik mo tungod kay may pasalig ka. Sa daghang pag-ibig ako gihigugma, buhaton ang tanan aron ang gugma matuman. At ang gugmanan kamot, pagtulay sa gilayon, masampayan ang gagahon alang sa bagong kaugmaon. Gihandog ko ang pagbalik mo ning akong giliran, kay misaad ka na ako. Ako ra gyud hangtod sa katumanan, ipabot ko ang pagbalik mo tungod kay may pasalik ka sa daghang pagi. Ako ginhigugma, muhatun ang tanan. Ang gugmang matuman. Mga saata bituon sa langit, mikislap mitan-ak sa kangit-ngit, katamis taliwala sa kapait, mitunaw sa tik-ang kasing-kasing, nanumpada kung kuyog tang tuhan, gugmang gamhanan makahimo sa tanan. Misata kung kitang duha kauban, malatas na to ang layong kadagatahan, mapatag ang habog na kabukiran, mausaban na sa kalibutan, hangtod kano sa matahon. Kining akong dughan, ang akong kamot imong gihawiran, dungan na tong bag-o ng kalibutan, punon sa kahoy ang napuong lasan, pabulakon ang nalayang tanaman. Misatan kung kitang duha kauban, malatas na to ang layong kadagatahan, mapatag ang hapong na kabukiran, mausaban na sa kalibutan, hangtod kano sa matahon. Kini at lami sa loob sa imong paglakaw. Magulat ba ang tod sa hangtod, sa kahangturan? Misada kung kitang duha kauban, malakas na to ang layong karagatan. Mapatag ang habog nga kabukiran, mausap ang naong sa kalibutan, hangtod kanos ang magdahong. Kining akong dagan
So we are fixed. Daghang salamat. So we are fixing our technical issues here. So daghang salamat for being with us. We celebrated this event is in celebration of mothers. Last May 8, we celebrated the Mother's Day, and of course on May 9 we celebrated our motherland with the 2022 national elections. And so we greet all our mothers a happy Mother's Day. So this event today is a celebration of mothers, especially the single mothers who have sacrificed a lot, raising and rearing children by alone, without a partner. So we also celebrate this month the National Heritage Month. So this is also in celebration of our motherland, of our country, the National Heritage Month. And this month we are celebrating also in the theme for this is the local heritage. And so last May 1, we celebrated the International Labor Day, a celebration of the workers all over the world who made possible the development in our society, and also even in our country, the workers were the ones who were who were who were very important in the revolution against Spain, and then in the different revolutions against foreign invaders. And also in Cebu on May 20 this month, we would be celebrating the second phase of the 1898 Cebu Revolution in Cebu. After the Battle of Tres de Abril in 1898, and after 𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙝𝙗 was killed and there were reinforcements of the Spaniards in the city on April 7 and 8, the Cebuanos regrouped on May 8, 1898 in the Sudlon Mountains. So led by General Luis Flores. If you have seen that video, that music video that we showed during the countdown, you have seen Juliana Revillas, a leader of the Cebu Manggugubot, who continued to fight against the Spaniards even when her husband, Candido Padilla, was killed by the Spaniards. So we also would like to now to invite everyone to have fun with us in our conversations this afternoon with our panelists, and we journey back uh, to pre-colonial times to trace the sex practices, and if there were already single mothers at the time. And also we are going to discuss the current situation right now of the single mothers. And also, we are going to show you a song from our young interns, our Gen Z here at Palmgrass. They are the ones who lead the Heritage Adventure Trail here at Palmgrass. If you join our Heritage Adventure Trail, you would be able to experience the traditional chores being done by Cebuanos, Visayans, and Filipinos. And our young staff here at Palmgrass, the Gen Z at Palmgrass, would be would be offering a song regarding these traditional chores. And this is a very popular song, and a witty song that I just learned a few days ago. So, daghang salamat to Ruela Daquila for being with us, to Aries Benlim Tanyola. So Aries said that he is a proud, he is proudly raised by a single mom. And so I really wanted to witness this event. Yes, and we have also actually a battle of hugot lines contest. There were 10 who registered online. Unfortunately, no one has has arrived at the venue yet. So maybe they thought it's an online battle. So, so we would like also to recognize our partners. We thank our partners in our event that made possible this event, and you are also seeing this broadcast at the Facebook pages of our partners, the National Quicentennial Committee, Museo Sugbo, the Central Visayas Association of Museums, the Yandi Heritage Center, SOAN 2020, Arts Cebu, Culture, Arts and Design Association of the Philippines Foundation, and LGBT group Bisdak Pride. So we are also excited that there will be testimonies in a while from single mothers. There is a testimony from a BPO, a mother who works in a BPO. So do we have already do they have a link to our to our someone from Cagayan de Oro, and we also have a testimony from a mother, a gay who she is a mother. She is her pronoun is she, and then who also who is from Bugo, Cebu, and we also have a testimony from an urban poor from 𝗠𝗪𝗂 Street. So we would like to recognize our participants who registered online, those who said that they came from these institutions, from the schools division, Taguig City and Pateros, from the DepEd, from the teachers from the school. Shout out and thank you for being with us, Ferdinand Pagao, and thank you for being with us in the last week of April to celebrate the 501st year of the victory at Mactan. So thank you very much for having a heritage tour in Cebu, even if you are from Taguig and Taguig City. So we also recognize our participant who comes from Polytechnic University of the Philippines, and also from National Museum of Bohol, from Iloilo Science and Technology, University of the Philippines, 𝗥𝙗𝙩 campus, also from Manukan East Central School. We have someone from Biliran Province State University, kapisanan ng mga guro at mag-aaral sa Filipino. We have someone from Emilio Aguinaldo College, University of San Carlos Museum, St. Michael College of Caraga, Maria Concepcion Cruz High School, Signal Village National High School, Taguig Science High School, Camarines Norte State College, Philippine Christian Gospel School, Davao del Sur State College, UP Manila School of Health Sciences, Palo, Leyte, West Visayas State University, Bugo City, Ruiz Montenegro Poblete Associates, someone from this firm, and also from someone from IPI, Research Analytical Lab, and someone from the BPO, Accenture, and also someone from the Bronner's Holistic Therapy Services. And for everyone who has not registered, daghang salamat for being with us. We also have Ian Alfonso, thank you for joining us. Jobert Reyes, who said the song is very sad. Kasakit ba sa kanta? It's so painful. Yes, that song, Paglangyaw, is dedicated to all single mothers or the mothers who raise their children by themselves. And also, of course, that song was dedicated to those who went overseas and affected by the forced migration because of economic difficulties in our society, and they were forced to migrate. So we also have Lady Visconde. She is an artist and a single mother of two wonderful kids. Thank you, Lady, for being with us. And also Giovanni Putong, a winner of our previous trivia quiz. Madayaw, maayong hapon. Greetings from Davao del Sur State College. And we also have May Romarate Rosales, our Katipunero descendant, who is a proud single mother. And also Iralam, Blessed Day from SDO Tapat. And Live, Love, Laugh from from the beautiful island of Biliran. Daghang salamat, live, love, laugh from Biliran for being with us. So, of course, we have our Hugot Lines, Battle of Hugot Lines contestants. They are not yet here. So, so we have 10 who registered to join, but no one is yet here. So do we have an online contest? No. So we have actually who got lines in our post for single mothers. So maybe we can read some of them in the later if our contestants wouldn't be here. Maybe they thought the contest would be online. So we would invite you to give your questions and your comments as we go along. So we have our two panelists. We have a Visayas historian, and we have also the information officer of Population Commission Region 7. So before I would introduce our first panelist, she is actually here with us in our heritage event as a panelist for the first time, but she has joined online. She was an audience in our previous online events, and we are also displaying her book. So when somebody, one of the like Adonis Dorado, one of our bestseller, our poets that with books that we are displaying here at Palmgrass, saw that she is one of our panelists. He was actually asking me if our panelist would be launching her book because she has also a book. So this is her book, The Winter Lady, and this is a book about women who love passionately those men in snow areas or in snowy areas, and the women love the men passionately, but then the men unfortunately became cold and callous, and the women lived in winter. So they became winter ladies. They also became cold and so that's why they became winter ladies. So this is the book by our panelist, Winter Lady, the Winter Lady. So before, as I would introduce her to you, I would like to read an excerpt from her poem. So this book is a book of poems about women who loved, but the men were cold. So the ladies became winter ladies. So this is one. In your heart I am, embraced by the best kinds of people. I feel the warmth of kindness. Thank you for sharing with me a sun that sets in another time. My round of applause, Anna, for the so so it's dedicated to someone whose sun sets in another time. So mo ni siya ang unsa gani na nga what song is that? Dito ay umaga, diyan ay gabi. So that kind of song. So she is the information and information of, she was previously with the Cebu City government, and she has worked with non-government organizations that with advocacy on women, and she is now an information officer 3 of Population Commission Region 7. Please help me welcome Malu Aloro Garillos, the Winter Lady. Agree?
Hello, good afternoon. Daghang salamat.
Daghang salamat
for having me here.
Daghang salamat, Malu. So of course, Malu will be answering the questions from our audience, and there was already a question given actually to Popcom by our audience, our follower, a Palmgrass follower, Gary Mayer, who lives in the United States. So I guess Malu would be answering his question in a while. So our next panelist is our Suki here at Palmgrass in our heritage events. He has been our resource persons in previously in 2020. He was our panelist about in the journey of the Cebuano Palate, and he was also our panelist in our event 𝗎𝙤𝙩𝙧𝙝, the power of women in bed and politics 500 years ago. And he was also one of our panelists in our forum on aphrodisiacs, lami, 𝗥𝗏𝙗, poisons and aphrodisiacs 500 years ago. And also, he was also our panelist in our event on Surat Binisaya, the ancient Visayan language and writing. And so he is a Visayas historian. He is a professor of the University of the Philippines, Manila, Palo campus. Please help me welcome Dr. Rolando Borinaga. Maayong hapon, Dr. Rolly.
Maayong hapon.
So, daghang salamat, Dr. Rolly, for being with us once again. So, suki na gid ka sa mga heritage events. So, Dr. Rolly is really our resource person when it comes to Visayas history. So, daghang salamat, Dr. Rolly. So, we invite you to give your questions and comments as we go along. So, daghang salamat for those with us on site right now. So, we have also Ria Micaela Mapalo, a single mom and a teacher from the Capitan Jose Cardones Integrated School, SDO Taguig and Pateros. Daghang salamat for joining us. And also, we have our, do we have them online right now? Can we show them? Not yet. So we have our customer service representative from Cagayan de Oro to give her testimony, Christine Yap, and also a housewife from Barangay Camagayan. Is she coming? Medi, and also we have our from Bugu City, from Vista Pride, Juno Ando. So we would be hearing from them in a while. So this month also we have our Mother's Day room treat here at Pamgra. So this treat for mothers is for the whole month from May 1 to 31. Wherein this treat comes with a room and dinner for 3. So this is a treat really for mothers that is offered the whole month of May. So now we would like to start with our discussion regarding lami ba ang single mom. So are there single mothers before the Spaniards came, or before the coming of the Spaniards, or what was motherhood before the Spaniards came? So why did we have this topic? This is because this is a common joke. Is this a joke or a quote or a comment, or is this a joke? Usually in comments of Visaya, in Visaya pages, most men or are these men? Most men would say, mas lami ang single mom. So we read this, so that's why we made this as a topic in our Mother's Day celebration this month. So we would like to ask now our panelist, Dr. Rolly Borinaga, regarding, may we have Dr. Rolly, please? So Dr. Rolly, so you studied really Father Francisco Alcina. So you have his book and also his books. And so we would like to know if in pre-colonial Visayas, and of course we have discussed this also in our previous events.
Yeah.
So in pre-colonial Visayas, was sex practiced before marriage or during courtship, and were contraceptives used?
it seems what we now call premarital sex was actually practiced not only in the Visayas but in many other tribes in the Philippines. So in fact, there's still some tribe in the Cordillera that a female would not be wed. Dili pakaslan sa lalaki kung dili o naburod, something like that. So fertility has to be established so that marriage can occur. So it was a fact of life ang sex before marriage and even before courtship during pre-Spanish times. Yes. The concept of sex after marriage was already was already introduced by the friars during colonization.
Yes, because according also to Pigafetta, when in his chronicles, so he said that the girls, the genitalia of the girls are already open, are gradually opened as early as 6 years old. So he said, and then he said, by penises, or how were these, how were the women, the girls prepared for sex?
It was a ritual actually, especially among the Binokots who would be married off to some dato from another tribe. The babaylans would see to it that they were already at least prepared for sex, or at least can facilitate sex with their partner. So at that time, uh, sex actually for the males, it involved having penis pins or rings. Parang ang doon ay penis pins or rings that would have to be inserted first by the female into their sex organ, comfortably into their sex organ, so that sex can proceed. Yeah, yes, that was the practice during those times. So the particularly the Binocos, they were not expected to be ignorant on this matter before they were married off. And the male partner who initiates Binoco to sex was called the batog, no? It's basically somebody who would mount. So there was already some sort of practice. Actually, parang this was done by the facilitated by the babaylans before the Binoco was married off.
Yeah, so the women actually were according to chronicler Pigafetta, that the women wouldn't want to have communication or sex with the men if the men didn't have those gadgets or those
Yeah,
pins.
pins or
So
rings or something like that.
yes, so maybe that those gadgets facilitated the pleasure of the women, because according also to one panelist, Boboy Costas, in our discussion on the sex lives of pre-colonial Cebuanos, they said that the women would be showing like something like a signal that, for example, they would show a tobacco that I would want something like this or something like so. Maybe those gadgets would facilitate the pleasure of the women.
Well, let us look at this way. I guess in pre-colonial society, the problem was actually erection. They were living in war societies, and the men, at least the warriors, did not were always on the alert that there could be a war tomorrow, and so the problem was erection. So that's why they had to have penis pins, so that once the once this had been installed somewhere in the female genitalia, it would be followed by erection, so, something like that.
Yes,
It looks
and
like
also
kung walang there were no gadgets, the sex cannot occur.
so so in our discussion also in aphrodisiacs and in 500 years ago, there were actually a reaction to that because the Cebuanos, they really consider themselves as really strong, so they don't need aphrodisiacs, or of course they also need aphrodisiacs, I don't know. So anyway, um we have read also in Boxer Codex, there was an account also that the Spaniards really considered those gadgets as works of the demon or of the devil. They banned
At that,
those
yeah,
gadgets.
at the
Yes,
end of the Boxer Codex documents. Yes.
yes, and they banned those gadgets, and also they banned also the sex position that the women like, because according to the Boxer Codex, the women like that because when they have that gadget, they would be joined they would be joined like dogs from night until morning, and then the women like it so much. And the Spaniards were so angry, they banned it and would punish the couple who would do it.
Yes, yes.
So thank you very
Yes,
much,
yes.
Dr. Rolly. For those who would like to ask a question, give your questions now and also your comments. And so, dagang salamat, Dr. Rolly. You have more questions for you in a while. So thank you very much, Ferdinand Ascaraga, for being with us, to Leah Mendoza Malyari, and also uh, Leah is from Taguig City and Pateros, and John Paul is from also Maria Asuncion Rodriguez Tinga Memorial High School, and we also have Baby Sue Lewinsky watching. Daghang salamat. So we would be discussing more. If you have more questions about the sex lives before the Spaniards came, feel free to say it, because here this is no holds barred. So we can talk anything that is educational, and also, so as Dr. Rowley said, sex before marriage was a common practice. It was only during the Spanish occupation, during the Spanish period, Spanish colonial period, that sex after marriage was already introduced. And so now we would like to ask our panelists from the Population Commission Region 7 regarding right now, what is the situation right now regarding is premarital sex common? Is and teenage pregnancy prevalent in Central Visayas? And what are its implications to single motherhood or single parenting? So with me, we have Malu.
Yes. Yes, hello, yes. Teenage pregnancy is really prevalent in Central Visayas. No? In fact, in our data, uh, we would be number 5 in the country as of 2020 and number 1 in the Visayas. No? And even as early as 2016, 2017, 2018, Central Visayas has always been in the limelight in terms of teenage pregnancy. And yes, you are right. This has something to do with premarital sex. There is curiosity in terms of sex. There is ignorance probably in terms of fertility. There is not much awareness in terms of sexuality and reproductive health among children, because we are referring to children at the age of minar, kanang gidugo, bago pa lang gidugo, no, as early as 10 years old and also up to 19 years old. So um, what's also very disturbing is that teenage pregnancy, as stipulated in the Executive Order 141, is highly relatable to violence against women and children. Tungkol kay dito, in one of the whereas clauses of this EO 141, there is the acknowledgement, the executive order, by the way, is about curbing, teenage pregnancy. This is about uh, acknowledging the fact that, in fact, ang kanini ang teenage pregnancy is considered as a national social crisis. Crisis ni siya, kaya niabot naman siya og dako kaayo nga number in 2020 and even in 2021. So one of the whereas clauses in Executive Order 141 stipulates that only 3% of the fathers of these teenage moms giving birth pari-parehas sa nilang edad of the same age. And the rest of that are actually fathered by men who are much older than them, or by men who are also probably kanang dunay pressure, no? adunay power play. Oo. So, in what are the implications is that this is very hard, no, for young people. As early as 10 years old up to 19 years old, they're supposed to be playing. They're supposed to be in school. They're not yet employed. Unya, ang ilahang physical reproductive system is not yet ready for bearing children. And also their emotional sense, no? Dili pa kaayo sila ready. So this is going to be very hard for them. There's low educational attainment, there's unemployment, there's physical, emotional, financial unreadiness, and then the future is also at stake for them. So, gawas pa ni Ana, there is also the implication of illegitimacy among children. Kay dili pa man ni sila pwede nga maminyo, and in most cases, in fact, the younger the number of the ages, no? As mga 10 years old up to 17 years old, about 95% are illegitimate. No, the younger the number of the ages, the bigger the number of illegitimacy. Okay, so I'd like to show in the next slides, in the next three slides, I'd like to show kung saan siya ang kaning numbers that we are talking about. No, so earlier pa, I think. So this one, this is 2019-2020 data. For 10 to 17 years old, we have here that Central Visayas is the fifth actually in the whole country. We have 4,175 in 2020, and that's 4,591 in 2019. So it's kind of sustained in that sense. And then is there another slide that will show also? This one in Central Visayas, for those with ages 10 to 19 years old, we see aduna gyud in all of the provinces, Bohol, Siquijor, Negros Oriental, Cebu, taas kaayo ang Cebu, no? So there is a prevalence of teenage pregnancy.
Yes. So daghang salamat, Malu. So of course, we term it now as teenage pregnancy because what is the age that usually we expect the girls to be pregnant? Because of course, in the old times, in pre-colonial times, so we also would like to know at what age do the girls become mothers. So right now, at what age, teenage, when we say teenage pregnancy, these are the ages of teenagers. Until what age would be it would be considered as teenage pregnancy? Malu.
Sa PSA, or even in PAPCOM, we consider it at the age of menarche, it's actually mga 15 to 19 years old. Pero we realize nga there are in fact those nga bearing children na at the earliest age of 10. So it's getting younger. Sa una, kung na siya 15 to 19 years old. And then, i-move na siya, nahimo na siya 13 to 19 years old. And now, is getting younger, is already 10 to 19 years old. Kay, kung na siya, the earlier, kung ikaw gidugo na ka, and then you get pregnant, so pauna, i-tabulate sa siya, it's being recorded, and it's being there in the RHUs, sa ato ang mga health centers. I-monitor man na sila. So they're getting younger, and that is very sad because that's a very risky situation, and it's not going to be very comfortable in that sense kung they're very young na sila, manganak na sila.
Daghang salamat, Malu. So we're going to discuss in a while after we go back again to pre-colonial times and Spanish time, Philippines, and then regarding the situation of women and mothers before, and then we would go back again to Malu later regarding the laws, and then how is the welfare of the women protected right now. So we would now like again to call Dr. Rolly. So we have our do we have more to those who are online so that we will recognize you? You say hashtag Maslami ang single mom, or you say you just comment your place so that we can recognize you wherever you are in the Philippines and in the world. So Dr. Rolly, there is this question that we have not asked you about, so you said a while ago that sex before marriage was common before the Spaniards came. And then, so we would like to ask regarding, was there contraception? Were contraceptives used? Please unmute. You please unmute. So daghang salamat to our
Okay.
on-site audience who just came.
I have not come across literatures about pre-colonial contraceptives. What is common in the literature is that there are flora items for abortion. There's a lot of items for abortion. Plant items, including some papaya, parts of papaya or something like that, and even the traditional birth attendant, mananabang, they are actually called hilot because uh, in the old days, the hilot will actually ask, unsa man gusto ni nimo o dili nga imo giborod, no? Because the option there is that if it is an unwanted child, then kumuton, no? It has to be aborted. So there was abortion. Abortion was actually practiced, and they know about plants and other materials that could induce abortion, but not in fact not contraceptives to prevent pregnancy. Abortion lang ang naa sa literature.
Yes, it was Alcina, right, who said about um, during that time it was shameful for a woman to be pregnant out of wedlock, something like that.
Not necessarily, but not necessarily because sometimes yung slave women would want to have children by datos because the children would now become atimawa, would have higher status than themselves. It was not exactly something like that.
It was not a
so much.
shame.
Not a shame.
Depends on the decision of the woman
Of
if
the
she
woman.
wants to have a baby or a child from this man.
Yes.
Yes. So now we would like to ask Dr. Rolly regarding how was motherhood before the Spaniards came? How was motherhood during pre-colonial times? And if single motherhood was common?
I think the concept of motherhood has never really changed across the ages. When a woman gets married, then she is expected to become pregnant and bear children for the husband. And of course, at that time, the only way of feeding the child was breastfeeding. In modern times, you now have formulas with which to uh, mm, to feed the baby. So my bottle feeding na, but for much of our colonial years, it was basically breastfeeding. I have not read about the other alternatives, but it seems there had always, I have come across literature na kung ang nanay kulang ang gatas, they would have to find a relative who has another baby to also feed the baby kung ang nanay kulang og gatas. So it's basically breastfeeding. It has
Yes.
not much changed. It has not changed much the pattern of motherhood across the ages.
So, Dr. Rolly, the concept during, for example, in colonial period and until today, that if you become a mother when you, for example, you get married, and then also when you fall in love. So, was motherhood at that time before the Spaniards came, it was because of love, or was it a political decision by a woman, or is it an emotional decision? Becoming a
Uh,
mother.
for the lower classes, for the slaves, it was basically romantic love. because among the Binocots, it was not. They were not. So in fact, Father Alcina has. I think his main informant was the mother, Binocot mother of Sumoroy, of the famous Sumoroy rebellion, and it said that uh, most Binocots actually did not love their husbands, but they had to marry them because of certain political purposes. And I guess this is also true among royalties in Europe. No? The women did not really have much decision on whom to marry. But for the lower classes, for among slaves, they actually can choose who to marry as a woman or a man. Parang the concept of romantic love was a prerogative of the lower classes, slaves and timawa.
So those who are free to love are only the slaves. They're slaves, but they are not slaves of love. They are free to love. They are not prisoners of love,
Yeah, yes,
even if
yes.
they are slaves economically. So, so Dr. Rolly, so because the women, for example, the Binokot, get gets married because of political motives or economic motives or because of the decision
Of
of the
their
family
tribes.
of the clan or
Yeah,
of
tribe
their
or the
parents,
tribes. Yeah.
of the elders or the tribe.
Mm,
So it's because of for political power or economic
yeah.
power to strengthen the economic power or political
Mhm,
power of the tribe. So
mhm.
so that's why if we also read Alcina also, he said that divorce was also common. So if there was divorce, there could have been single mothers before in pre-colonial times.
Uh, yes, there was a lot of single mothers during pre-colonial times in the sense that they were war societies. So if the males go to war, married males go to war, they could be killed or they could be captured by the enemy, and so they would have to leave their wives and children behind, and to be take at least taking care of them would include now the entire community. So there was single motherhood was a fact, maybe a greater fact during pre-colonial times
So
than in our
after
time.
yeah, so after they are divorced, for example, so we would see, like you said in our a few days ago when we had a meeting right after the day after the elections, when we had a meeting here, you said about it was more common that a man and a woman would be married uh, not only once.
It was
Please
actually
elaborate more.
it was actually William Henry Scott that it is a rarity for a man or a woman to have been married only once. So it means they have divorced and married but as far as Alcina is concerned, they divorce, but many of them actually remarry the wife that they had divorced.
So why would they do that? Why would they divorce and then remarry the one that they separated from?
Well, he did not explain. He just said that that
Yes,
most of those who divorced actually eventually married the women that they had divorced. It,
yes.
it's funny, but but that's what he
So
recorded.
we also read, for example, we have this book published by Pamgras, a short history of Cebu, 1500s to 1890s, and we also have this ac- uh, uh, fact um, from 𝗎𝙞𝙀 in a book published by Pamgras that the first Cebuana to be baptized during the in 1565 when Legazpi was when the Spaniards led by Legazpi occupied Cebu. The first to be baptized was a Cebuana who a divorced, actually a single mom, because she has two kids And then, but she was separated. She was divorced from her husband, and she fell in love with the crew, the agriculture of the crew of Legazpi, and that's why, because of love, she got Christianized. She was converted to Christianity. So, which means, but then she also had slaves. We would see that the women, even when they actually owned properties. So the women can divorce because they have their own properties. So would you tell us more about that, Dr. Rolly?
Well, they had actually they had they possessed their own properties. Of course, properties at the time include jewelry, and some Chinese porcelain or something like that. Because at that time, land was not yet property; it was communally owned. So, ganun lang. Bahandi, in fact, was these ceramics were the ones called bahandi. So it's basically bahandi and jewelry,
Yes. Jewelry and
which
slaves
they
also.
yeah,
They own
which they
slaves.
can they can own. Yeah.
Yes. And also when they divorce, what happened to the children?
They would have to be divided. There is actually a sharing system between husband and wife. It is recorded, and then sometimes even the children were asked to which parent would you join. So there's an entire system about that, on the
Yes.
sharing of children in case of divorce.
Daghang salamat, Dr. Rolly. So we have Ferdinand Ascaraga was saying about wet nursing, about what when you said that someone else would be breastfeeding a baby if the mother cannot breastfeed. And also uh, we have Teresita Tuazon from Eusebio Santos Elementary School saying good afternoon. Annabelle from Aguho Elementary School saying good afternoon, and Abigail Guani. And also we have this comment from Giovanni Putong from Davao. There is a common, there is a custom primarily among Tibuli and Bilaan tribes in Mindanao, usually assume the paternal authority of the deceased brother. There is an economic and social implication on that effect. So that's the comment of Giovanni. So we have we have another question for Dr. Rolly. May we have Dr. Rolly? So we would like to ask you regarding parenthood during Spanish times. So how did the natives cope with, especially forced labor by the Spaniards?
Well, it forced labor during the Spanish times. You'd have to pay tribute and 40 days of labor for the colony. So I'm not very sure how but these were for public works. Making of those large churches were among their achievements. But they also had, sometimes they would have to join the Spaniards as rowers when they went into war, especially with the Dutch during the 1600s. 1600s up to 1646, they had to serve as rowers for the Spanish Navy, chasing out the Dutch Navy coming in the Philippines. And there was even a time when they had also to go to the Moluccas. And so they were basically away from their families, and it would have been very, very hard for the wives and the children without the income earners. So it had to be the wife to take care of the farm and things like that. Get
So, what would be the difference when, for example, during pre-colonial times, when the natives, the men would go to war and they were left in the tribe, and what is the difference now when the women would be left when, for example, in Cebu we have accounts like when there was this threat of the Chinese invasion in Manila of Limahong or another Chinese. Cebuanos were forcibly brought, or Cebuanos were brought to Manila and other parts of the country to fight the wars of the Spaniards. So would it be the same when before the Spaniards came, the natives would fight for the tribe, and now the natives during Spanish time, the natives would fight for the Spaniards and leave their families?
It was essentially the same. It's essentially the same routine from the Spanish times and the pre-colonial times. The only difference there was that during the Spanish times, the natives, except for Pampanga, or the favorites of the Spaniards, most of other natives were just there for non-combat tasks, rowing the boats, because the Visayas, they were already disarmed, so that they may not rebel against the Spaniards. So parang kuan lang, para bugsay na lang, dili na sila warriors, para bugsay na lang gito ang ilang role.
So para bugsay. So during the before the in pre-colonial times, they were warriors, and then now they were rowers.
They were actually warriors
during the Spanish time.
with
But then,
weapons,
with weapons. And then the implications for those left behind. So, for example, the women during in the tribe. So we presume they have support from the tribe when they are left, when the husbands would go to war. So now during the Spanish time, who would be supporting them when the would there be special treatment for those natives who would be conscripted for those wars that the Spaniards fought?
it looked like wala. They would now have to take care of themselves, probably with the help of other wives in the neighborhood or something like that, or the males, men who would have been left behind, maybe yung mga kuan, people with disabilities, males with disabilities who had been left behind, or the older ones, because the actually yung mga the healthy men are already out. So it would have been very difficult when they were left behind during the Spanish era, unlike before, during colonial years, where everybody was basically taken care of by the dato and his wife, or his or the family. Lisod na during colonial years kung mawala ang husband, kay ang walay support system sa family, immediate family.
Yeah, so that was why we would see, like, for example, for the Cavite mutiny, like the natives would be brought forcibly to Cavite to build the galleons and the ships of the Spaniards, and so the men were revolted, and of course the people were so angry of the forcible separation from the family. So would that have an implication, the forcible separation in the revolts?
Yes, that actually happened during the Somoray Rebellion. It seems the lower classes, yung ang napadalaon na ngadto sa Cavite, ang mga hayahay, former slaves. But later, when they tried to recruit more from the Timawa and the Tumao and higher classes, that's when the people started to revolt. And actually, the Spaniards could not force, after that, they could no longer force the Visayans to be sent for the shipyard work in Cavite. Although we are presented with the fact that na suppress si Sumoroy, the overall impact of that was that wala na gi-stop na to nila ang pagpadala og mga workers from the Visayas to Cavite. It was actually a victory for the Visayans.
So yes, that forcible separation from from the family is really a fuel for revolt, and that forced migration or forced separation is still happening until today. And then we would ask that to Popcom in a while, because there's still force. Like for example, in our video that we showed you, that script was made by our students from the University of the Philippines, who made that script about the forcible separation, even if the song was written by Agripina, inspired by the OFWs here, the OFWs who are the usual guests before the pandemic. Then forcible separation because of the difficulty of the life here in our country. And when did that start? So we would be discussing more on that when we go to the modern times. So now, Dr. Rolly, there is a question also regarding family life, because of course before we had trade with Sulu, like Visayas, the Cebu had trade, and different parts of the Visayas and in the country, in the archipelago, had trade with Muslims. But later, when the natives become Christianized, the Moro now have raids in the different parts of the Visayas. So was family life affected also because of this?
Yes, very much affected. Because what really happened was that people can no longer easily travel to other parts of the other islands, and especially during Moro raids, they could not go to their farms. They had to hide in their what called ilihan, basically their places of refuge. Then they would have to stay there for extended periods of time until the threat would have disappeared.
Yes,
Lisod ang time sa Moro raids.
yes. So there is also this question. We would like to give you this question from our audience from Davao, Giovanni Putong. He said, um, the pre in pre how could I ask this? The pre-colonial and partly during Spanish period, the natives the practice of multiple partners and being single mother is but a norm. But when the tradition of hiya and being bastard anak sa labas intensified shame, or what can you say about this? When did being a single mother become a shame? So
Actually I don't I have no direct idea on how to explain that, because in many rural areas, bisan tong napaangkan, maybe they would have to suffer in status, but actually the children are usually not involved. They parang dili sila ang murag dili ang sayop sa bata, sayop sa nanay. So I have not looked at that closely. So.
yes, and then so during the wars against the war against the Americans and wars against Japan, so did we have the women also, were when the men became guerrillas, or did the women also fight in those wars? So what happened to the family during these wars against colonizers?
Unfortunately, these are not uh, these are not much documented. Colonial documentation was basically involved only the experiences of the men, not of the women. But it was a fact of life. It was a fact of life. So, for instance, in the 1890s, the Dios movement at that time were being suppressed by the Spaniards in Leyte and Samar, and they would capture, they would arrest anybody in the possession of an orasyon, yung mga orasyon, and they would eventually be charged and convicted for sedition and sent to Bilibid and penal colonies. So in one town, for instance, one batch from 𝙎𝙤𝙩𝙛𝙡, for instance, of 50 males were sent out as prisoners. So you can just imagine if at least if at least 40 of them were married and had children, it would have been very difficult for the women. But again, I have tried to get the documentation of that because Haro is the hometown of my wife. Walang documentation, so you just have to speculate what really happened. But I know it would have been very difficult for the women, single women, single mothers to take care of their families and children.
Yes. So that's the challenge for women to have more study on these periods of the history, because of course, as we have discussed in the past, we have a history and not a her story. So
Yeah,
so
yeah. Unfortunately, unfortunately.
so this is the challenge for the women and men out there, historians and those who are studying society and history, political science, to consider what happened to the family and to the women throughout history in the different periods of our history. So Dr. Rolly is also, we would be giving you the questions from our audience in a while, Dr. Rolly. So Dr. Rolly is the author of this book, 𝙬𝙤𝙪𝙤, and Deciphering Ancient Visayan Writing and Language. So this is available at Panelist, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. You can send us a message if you want this book. And so because of this book of Dr. Rolly, you see a pot here. This is a ritual pot. And so Dr. Rolly
Kalatagan
said,
pattern.
yes, this was a ritual pot.
Yeah, yes,
Uh,
yes.
Yes, and inscribed here was the chants or the prayer of the Babaylan. So as Dr. Rolly said, the Babaylanes were the ones who prepared women for marriage. So they are everywhere. They heal, they poison, and everything else. They bury they have rituals from birth until death. So because of this, actually, this was the book was our inspiration when we had when we formulated, because we have our Alima native massage here at Palmgrass, and we tried to trace the traditional healing practices. Like we have an oration before the massage. So we studied the prayers written in the book. Like according to Dr. Rolly, the Babaylanes, the those the language written in the pots were Bisaya.
Bisaya. Yeah.
Yes, even the ritual pot found in Intramuros and in Calatagan, which is in Luzon, it's in Bisaya.
Yeah.
So that's why Dr. Rolly said in our previous forum that the language of prayer in the past, in pre-colonial times, was Binisaya.
Was Binisaya. Yes.
Yes.
Dili pa
Daghang
Latin, dili pa Spanish era na tong hybrid Latin.
Yes, and then ang Datambala now, the Albulario, have Latin, that bastardized Latin.
Latin.
But before the Spaniards came, the prayer, even in Luzon, in
Was
the pots,
Binisaya.
inscribed in the pots, were Binisaya. So daghang salamat, Dr. Rolly. So now we would like to also to show you other books here at Palmgrass that would show us the life in pre-colonial Visayas. So we have also 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙤𝙠 Philippine Picnic. This is by Feliz Prudente Santa Maria that discussed the food when in the voyage of Magellan, when they came to our islands. So this is 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙤𝙠 Philippine Picnic. And we also have this book by Dr. Hope Sabanpanyu, institutionalizing motherhood in Cebuano literature. So she traced the mothers in literature from pre-colonial times until the colonial period. So this is a very interesting book regarding motherhood in Cebuano literature. And this is available at Palmgrass, Basahanan. Palmgrass to Cebu Heritage Hotel, Basahanan. And also, we have also We would like to invite you to uh, to to avail of our pahayahay sa ting-init. It's still summer, it's May, and to cool off and to chill, we have this 50 53% off at Pangras, the Cebu Heritage Hotel during summer. So now we would like to have this question again for our panelists. But before that, so we would like to read another excerpt from her poems, from her book of poems, The Winter Lady. So this book is a book about women who love passionately, but those men are in cold countries and their hearts also became cold and they became callous. Gikublan ang ilang heart, and the women, ang ilang passionate and their hearts that were on fire were doused with cold snow kay wala na motubag. They can no longer contact the one that they love because it was an online relationship. So we would like to read an excerpt of her book, The Winter Lady. I want to write more of how I feel when I am with you in this distance. My whole body becomes a sigh, a glance, a laugh, or a long drawn breath. So, mauna siya, LDR, long distance relationship, online relationship. So it's from this book, The Winter Lady, when the lady loves someone who has the season there has cold, the man is in winter and his heart also became cold, and so the woman's heart also became cold and she became a winter lady. You should have this book. You get hold of this book. It's very you get sad after reading it. so now we would like to ask our panelist, Malu, the author of this book, The Winter Lady, and she has also studied much about. Can we have Malu, please? She had studied women's issues, and she was able to write this book when she studied the situation also of those who love men online. So
This is also this Winter Lady book is actually about loving you uh, after the loving and loving me. So actually, this is the book of this is a book of poems that encompass before, after, and after. So this is empowerment of women. Oh, naka-move on jud siya, no? But this is very true because there are so many love scams online, and then the women who are left behind also realize that they have love and life to move forward to.
yes.
That's yeah.
Wow.
The Winter Lady. This
So-
was launched in 2017, by the way, and thank you for reading some of my poems.
Yes, Malu, there was a question for Popcom from a winter man, someone from the United States, our follower and fan at Pamgras, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, and he was also our guest at Pamgras. But I will ask you that question when we have this discussion about the laws in our country regarding solo parents. So right now, I would like to ask you because, of course, the measures in before the Spaniards came, there was premarital sex, but then they had a way to control birth if they don't want the women to give birth, and also right now you said a while ago that teenage pregnancy is a serious problem right now, and then we would like to ask you regarding measures to address teenage pregnancy today.
Okay, yes. Some there are so many measures actually, but some of the measures are as follows. No, one is really having a comprehensive sexual education in reproductive health for adolescents. especially for the young people, for teachers, and for parents and adults. Importante kaayo na siya. And knowing the risks of unprotected sex, especially for those reaching the age of menarche. This is also true for the young boys, no nga. Nagkuan na sila, nag-wet dreams na sila, wa sila kay balo nga, mo-produce na sila og semen, no? Ang mga babae po nga, bisag 10 years old sila, nagdugo na sila, wa sila kabalo nga, doon na sila, mo-produce na sila og egg. And if they experiment, no, daghan magud kaayo sa social media, they see sex, no? If they experiment together, mga they are not prepared, no? And the aspect of having comprehensive sexual education is actually being done not only by the Commission on Population and Development, but also with other government agencies such as DOH or the Department of Health, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, also with the Department of Education, and even at the moment we have partnership with Reach Health Visayas. So this is really a whole of the nation approach. Dili siya pwedeng pipila lang government organizations lang. It also includes the participation of local government units and also includes non-government organizations. Unya, second is also being able to have access to family planning methods among teenage moms to prevent repeated pregnancy. Kay lisod man kaayo kung mapun-an pa gyud, no? Labi na og madugangan the year after. Kay ato na gari na siyang i-prevent ang mga dynamics of poverty, prevent also the dynamics of ill health, especially in the time of the pandemic. So, kinahanglan nga bantayan nga dili na siya mo repeat pa ang pregnancies for young adolescents, the females. And then I would also like to mention here that we actually have teen centers among the local government units, and this is being certified by the Department of Health. And at the moment, PAPCOM has about 39 teen centers all over Central Visayas, and we also have what we call as teen center hubs in the schools, no? Sa mga high schools. Kaya aron dito nila mahibawaan kung unsa ang kanini ang comprehensive sexual education and adolescent reproductive health. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's also Executive Order 141. This is the one that's taking into consideration teenage pregnancy. Doon na tayo implementing rules and regulation ini. And one of that is also the Special Protection Program for adolescent mothers and their children. So, ang kaning SPAMC, aduna gitagaan na itong pagtagad ang mga LGUs nga daghan yun kaayong teenage moms. Unya, mura rin siyang may pagka 4Ps, kay tagaan man sila og financial assistance, and also tagaan po sila og kanini ang skills trainings for like livelihood programs. And then we also have the challenge initiative. I'm not sure if some of us have already heard of the challenge initiative. This is the one that's being spearheaded by the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation together with the 𝙎𝙤𝙧𝙝𝙗 Philippines Foundation, together in partnership with the Commission on Population and Development. Unya, ang ilahamang kung pagtanaw niini, ang TCI, the Challenge Initiative, is also taking focus on teenage pregnancy in the world. So all over the world, ang TCI has already about 100 cities na naa sa ilahang academy. Mga LGUs ni sila. And incidentally, in the Philippines, our pioneering cities, together with the Challenge Initiative, is the cities of Puerto Princesa, Cagayan de Oro, Dipolog, and now there's already Naga City in the Luzon, and also in Tacurong City. Wala pa taani naka-enroll sa Central Visayas tungod kay naaptan ta sa pandemic. Unya, daghan pa ni sila o kanan ang mga requirements, labi na sa ato ang mga data. Also, ang mga partnership with the local government units. So mauna siya.
So Malu, so there was a news a few weeks ago that the pregnancy increase or teenage pregnancy. Was it teenage pregnancy or was it just pregnancy that increased with the pandemic?
Oh yes, that's true. In fact, it was really sad kay gitanaw na siya nga phenomenon, no? Kaya nga naamang gud sulod sa mga panimalay unya hindi increase na hinuon sad no during the times of the pandemic 2020 o 2021 no. And then this is still there's still going to be a lot of research that's going to be needed on this ano man, and probably naasay uban for example ang kanini ang mga NGOs no, who are into in the same kanang vibes bitaw sa kanini ang Philippine Commission and Women's Commission nga posibleng aduna sa dini ay related sa violence against women and the children. Kay kana ba yang naara ka sa sulod no? There may be cases of incestuous relationship kay aduna ra pa to'y report sa reproductive kanini ang report sa National Implementation Team sa RPRH law in 2020 nga Central Visayas for example is number 1 in the whole country in terms of violence against women. Unya, daghan kaayong kaso sa rape, sexual molestation, daghan kaayo sa Central Visayas. So, usa ni sa kitanaw nga related kaayo usab sa teenage pregnancy. And it's very sad. This is not a success indicator for all of us because we always want to have violence against women back to zero. Unya, lisod kaayo na siya kanang ma-accomplish, no? Kanang back to zero. And then, samot pa yun, na ni teenage pregnancy, murag medyo complicated siya in that sense.
Yes, and that's very sad because if we would trace back to our history, in our discussion 2 weeks ago with historian Dr. Danny Hirona, he also mentioned that one of the factors why the natives, the Cebuanos, really were angry against the Spaniards because some Cebuano women were raped. So that was why. So if you would hurt a woman in the Visayas or in Cebu, the men would really, the warriors in Cebu would really fight and kill you. That's in pre-colonial times. And aside from that, there was already sex education by ababaylan. Even before, in pre-colonial times, as early as 6 years old, they are already oriented on their genitalia and prepare them for sex. So they already know what to do. So now there is a comment also from our audience from Ferdinand Ascaraga and we have a question from Ferdinand Pagao. The POPCOM Region 7 flagship program in relation to teenage pregnancy. I guess you have already answered that, right? And then also from Rebecca Varquez from SDO Tapat says, hi, Ligaya Monte from Silangan Elementary School. And Ferdinand Ascaraga says about the fictional Amaya. So Dr. Rolly Borinaga, our historian, is actually an advisor of the Amaya series. He was the one who advised the production of that Amaya series. And Ferdinand says the Amaya series gives us a glimpse of the single mom, wet nursing, and the women roles in pre-colonial society. Yes, and we thank Dr. Rolly for giving advice to the production team of that TV series. So now, Malu, we would like to ask you, so we would like to recognize our audience. So do we have a list of those who are with us? We have thank you to the men who are here and the women also who are here celebrating with us, the mothers. And to answer the question, mas lami ba ang single mom? So we would like to ask Malu regarding the population of single parents in the country today.
What we have at the moment is that there are about 14 to 15 million solo parents as of 2020. But unfortunately, we cannot really get the exact number of kanang single parents sa PSA, no, Philippine Statistics Authority. We still, due to lack of time for me to do research. But for this, the solo parents, we have about 14 to 15 million.
And then how much percent are the women in the 14
and that's
million?
About 95%. 95% are really the women. No.
So for the solo parents, 95% are women, and these are 15 million.
Oh.
15 million. How many millions are the women? What is 95% of 15 million? To those who are good in math, sige ko no, without con, 95% of 15 million. So there are 15 million single parents in our country today, and 95% are women. So how many women are these? Are these already voting women? Are voting age? Yes, I guess. Maybe they could have
Maybe
a
they would
strong
have a
force
strong-
during elections. The women, huh? What is 95% of 15 million? Wala. No, huh? 12 million. So Aries says 14 14.2 million. According to Aries, our teacher from the Alliance, Asian College of Technology. Aries says 95% is 14.2.
Oh,
14.25 million. The
that's really a lot.
95% of 15 million. 95%. So these are 14 million. And if you would vote during the elections, you would be able to
Yes.
push for someone who would carry the agenda, the welfare
Yes.
of the
Of the
solo
solo
parents.
parents. Oo.
14 million votes. 14 million votes.
Bitaw.
So yes, if the women would unite and then vote for someone that promotes their welfare, they could be a formidable force. For these are 12, 14 million, 15
Yes.
million.
Oo.
So,
Incidentally, there's a House Bill Raba.
yes.
Oo, that's being offered by Fortune of Agusan del Norte, no? That's expanding, no? The Solo Welfare Act.
So now we
Oo.
would
So
like to
pwede.
ask, what are the laws? So now we are talking about the power of the solo parents if they are going to unite and look for someone who would be pushing their agenda and their welfare and their interest. What are the laws that promote the welfare of the solo parents? And then we would like to ask if these are implemented, if these are enforced, if these laws that promote the welfare of solo parents are also implemented by the government.
Yeah. Yes, actually, all the laws are being implemented by government. We have Republic Act 8972 or the Solo Parents Welfare Act, no? Pero incidentally, mao to I mentioned earlier, na ay pipila ni ini ka mga benefits kay nga it's not enough. That's why there's House Bill 907. That's the expanded Solo Parents Welfare Act. Kay kanini ang Solo Parents Welfare Act, more man ni siya sa pahigayon sa katong parental leave, ana, unya, doon na kuno ni siya kanang benefits from the Department of Health, also in terms of housing, in terms of livelihood, pero kinahanglan maninimong kanang, unsa ni, oy, kanang, you really have to facilitate, no, and go to these agencies, kay even the IDs are so difficult to get the IDs for solo parents mismo. So again, it's not perfect. We also have, as I also mentioned earlier, the Executive Order 141, adopting as a national priority the implementation of measures to address the root causes of the rising number of teenage pregnancies and mobilizing government agencies for the purpose and social protection program for adolescent mothers and their children. And we also have Republic Act 9255, an act allowing legitimate children to use the surname of their father, amending for the purpose Article 176 of Executive Order 209, otherwise known as the Family Code of the Philippines, hoping ang kanay katulo kung i-recognize nga tagaan sila og financial support. So mao na siya nga these laws are being implemented pero dili lagi siya perfect. No, aduna gihampoy ingon ta mga kakulangan. That is why it's very important nga ang mga agencies or even the solo parents themselves will also write to Congress and lobby with their local legislators to make more laws that are, implementable for their benefit.
Yes. So there is a comment from our audience at the Pamgrass page from Doris Gumangan Casino, who says that um, the number of solo mothers or solo parents is very big. It's from Doris Gumangan Casino. That must be a significant number. Of course, it's very
Yes,
significant.
very.
14 million voters.
Yes.
14 million
Oh,
voters, you can win a presidency for this.
yes.
If they
If
would
they
look
carry
for
the
a
agenda.
candidate that would push for economic development and also for equitable distribution of wealth, and of course for human rights, and of course for the rights of women, and also for their welfare of children and youth. So we have also this comment from the National Quincentennial Committee page from Henny Colina Itok. This is a question. Part of the Philippine culture strongly believes that a child is a blessing. What can you say about the issue of pregnancy among our young girls who at an early age are already solo parents? So would this be answered by Malu or by Dr. Rolly? Both of them. So the question is, for the Philippine culture, a child is a blessing, but then um, young girls, the issue of pregnancy for young girls and become solo parents, there is also this issue. So how could this? What can you say about this? A child is a blessing, but young girls also become solo parents. There would be uh, teenager solo parents. So would you like to answer first, Malu?
Yes, oh, I agree, no? A child is a blessing, but you also need a lot of support system uh, in raising this child. No, bitaw na, it takes a village, it takes a whole nation, no, to raise children. It cannot
Takes a
be nga
village to raise a
mama
child.
lang. Dili pwede sad nga ang mama lang ug ang iyang ginikanan kay solo na gud siya daan. It cannot be kay lisod kaayo. So it takes a village, it takes a nation to take care of children, especially for single parents, especially for teenage moms.
Yes, and then we will have Dr. Rolly also regarding the culture that a child in our culture, a child is a blessing, and then there's the situation of teenage solo parents. What
Yeah,
can
well,
you say?
it has been said that it takes a village to raise a child. So it's not actually just the mother. It takes an entire village to do that. And then, in fact, sometimes I'm not actually very. But anyway, even para ko yung mga anak sa mga teenage mother who do not want their children, there are in fact enough couples who would like to adopt the child. Parang it's parang yun, the child is a blessing. And
Yes.
even if it is taken from the mother and it goes to another set of parents, it's still considered a blessing.
Yes, and then we would now look into history. How was adoption before the Spaniards came? So how did they take care of children when, for example, the warrior, the man gets killed, and then the mother is there? So how did they? What was the mechanism of taking care of these children from, of course, from warrior families? So
I
as
think
you said,
the child I think the child or the children had options to choose which relatives they would stay. So parang ganon, ano?
yeah.
So for instance, when we're still in our family, when we're still our parents had to take care of a sister who was was hospitalized for a long time in Manila. So we children actually shifted from one relative to another. We had the choice uh, on where to stay, and then we were accepted, something like that.
Daghang salamat, Dr. Rolly. Daghang salamat, Malu. So thank you for answering the question from our audience. We would like to, nanatay names sa atong mga on-site audience. So from, ah, so we also have, so do we have also our online, those who would join us to give a testimony online? Are they around? Who? From? So now, before we would like more questions for Malu, we would now like to ask our audience, our single mothers who would like to give their experience as a single mother. So, and also stay tuned for the fun performance of our guapo and talented Gen Z interns here at Palmgrass. They usually lead the Heritage Adventure Trail at Palmgrass. They would show us how to kagud and to lubok and to unsa ila kanta. So actually, a few 2 weeks ago, we had a Heritage Adventure Trail at Palmgrass, and then they were showing our guests, foreign guests, and also local from Cebuanos and from different parts of the country. And then I saw a German who was very good in shredding traditionally the coconut, magkagod. And then I was asking the other guests, like the girls who were availing of the soak and chill of the saltwater dipping pool at Palmgrass. I told them, why don't you join our adventure trail, like doing the kagod, the shredding of the coconuts? Because the German knows how to kagod. And the answer was in Visaya, kanang mga German ma'am, maayo gid na sila mo kagod. So I was asking them, why did they know the word kagod? It's a traditional chore in Visayas. Kagod is a traditional chore in the Visayas, or in the different parts of our archipelago. And these are very young, like early 20s, and they know the word kagod. And they told me about this fun song about pagkagod. And so because they showed me, we would also be showing you this song of pagkagod in a few minutes. So watch out for that. So we have this, we would like to, before I would ask the questions for Malu, other questions for Malu, we would like to ask our, the testimony from, we would like to have first the online or the one on site. So we would like to have first. So Palmgrass is part of the partnership, the Bagong 𝙤𝙤 Rebranding 𝗎𝙤𝙪 Street Partnership. And we have this partnership with the 5 barangays along 𝗎𝙤𝙪 Street, because we want to rebrand 𝗎𝙤𝙪 Street. Because in Cebu, when you hear the word 𝗎𝙤𝙪, it's always associated with negative things like prostitution, drugs. So we have organized our youth in 𝗎𝙤𝙪 Street. So we have, and children, we have already now the 𝗎𝙤𝙪 Street Children's Choir. We have the Bagong Teatro 𝗎𝙤𝙪, because 𝗎𝙤𝙪 was actually the governor of Cebu in the early 1890s. And then he built the first theater of Cebu. And he was anti-friars, and those he worked with also became members of the Cebu Manggugubot, or the Cebu Katipunan. So that's why we have our partners in 𝗎𝙤𝙪 Street. So we have someone from one of the barangays along 𝗎𝙤𝙪 Street, from Barangay Kamangayan. We have with us a single mother who would share with us her experience. For dira Bisaya lang ta, magbisaya lang ta dayon. I would translate it for our audience who does not understand Bisaya. So we have a testimony, a sharing from a single mother. So she is now married, but before that she was a single mother from Barangay Kamagayan, 𝗎𝙤𝙪 Street in Cebu City. Please help me welcome on site Medi Ontulan. So we have Medi here. So if you have also, we would be translating her testimony for you, for those who cannot understand Bisaya. So are we ready for her? Is the camera ready? So So thank you, Ronald RR, for being with us. Also, Ronald RR Uwano, our tour guide. I guess there are now tours, and 𝗎𝙭𝙭 also a tour guide. So of course there are already tours now, island tours, and we also have an island tour program at Palmgrass Hotel. So are we ready for? So we have our our testimony from a single mother from Barangay Camagayan, 𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙝 Street, in Cebu City. So we have Melody, Medi.
Okay.
Sige, so good na.
Kaya ang question.
So unsay experience kasi natian nimo? Unsay experience nimo as a istoryahin mi sa imong experience as a single mother?
Ngapon, as a single mother, lisod jud sa among part nga mahimong single mom nga kinahanglan ang single mom buhaton nimo tanan para gid sa mga anak. So maglisod kag kuan si mo ang kagalingon kay mabahin man nimo ang imong kuan part na mangitag nakita pangitag trabaho niya magatiman pa kasi mong anak. So lisod jud sa part sa mo ang single mom. So kinahanglan jud na mo nga mo fight me sa mong kagalingon para makuan matagaan na mo kuan na mong anak kanang disiplina na mo, tagaan na mo kaugmaon. Yeah. Buhaton jud na mo tanan para lang sa mga anak.
So thank you, Medi. I would like to translate. So Medi says that it's very hard to be a single mother because she does everything for the children, and then she needs help in disciplining the children. So she works hard for the welfare of the children. So Medi, pila ka buk imong anak?
Duha, ma'am.
So katong wala pa ka maminyo, pila man pila edad nimo na mother?
26, ma'am.
Pag na single mom ka, 26 years old na ka. So she became a single mother at 26 years old. But it's still very hard. So ano trabaho nimo adto nga time?
Wala, ma'am. Lisod jud kay sa akong part ato, ma'am. Kay nag-agad ako sa amahan sa ko ang anak niya. Wala kay siya kuan siya kinabuhi niya. Niya ako kinahanglan siya kung mangitag ka ng extra income para sa kong anak. So nagkuan ko kanang mga work nga part-time lang bitaw para lang makuan niya. Sa akin yun, ma'am, nga akong sustento sa akong family para lang sa akong anak. Mo sa ma'am. So kinahanglan siya nga di lang magmukmuk lang ka sa balay, kinahanglan siya nga dito jud kag way nga makakuan ka sa mong anak, makasuporta ka sa mong anak, hatag ka niya pagkaon kada adlaw. Ano siya, ma'am?
So Medi says that she became a mother at 26, and then the support that the father gave was not enough, and she had to make ends meet. She has to work jobs to support her child. So that's her situation. So do you have another question? So is there a program in your local in your area? Nabay support ang government, like a program that nabay programa ang gobyerno for you nga imong nahibaw-an to support you?
Ako nakibaw-an, ma'am, kanang solo parent. Solo parent, ma'am.
So na-avail nimo to?
Naka-avail ko anak sa una, ma'am.
Unsa may nakuha nimo?
Wala pa jud, ma'am.
Wala. So Medi says she knows that there is a law, the Solo Parent Act, but she has not availed of it. She has not benefited from that law. So daghang salamat, Medi, for your sharing. So we sympathize with you and all single mothers that, of course, as our panelists would say, children should not just be brought up or should not be supported by only the mother and the father, but the whole community should support the children. It is the community that should raise the children and help to support the needs of the children, because even only one family cannot is not enough to support the needs of the children. For example, education. I mean, education is so expensive. How can the children go to school? And also, if the food, if the basic commodities are so expensive, how can the children eat? And also for other needs. So it takes a whole country and a whole community to raise these children. So that's why it's very important to have good leaders, to be able, the 14, 15 million solo parents, and even all parents should should choose and should have leaders, and we should all work together to have programs for the benefit of families. So now, do we have another? We would like to ask, before we call our next sharer, someone who is also a mother. She is a gay. She is from the LGBT community. Of course, she is a mother because she chose to be a woman, and we would be asking her sharing in a few minutes. So, naana siya? So before that, so yes, we would ask her, and after that, we would ask Malu regarding other experiences of other single parents. So we have with us our she is a staff in the local government in Bugu City, and she is a member of the 𝗏𝙗★ Pride, and 𝗏𝙗★ Pride is our partner in our event today. 𝗏𝙗★ Pride is an organization for the rights of the LGBT in the Visayas. And so we have Juno Ando, a single mother.
Hello, good afternoon. Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes. Maayong hapon.
Yeah.
You may speak
Yes,
in
may hapon.
English or Bisaya. So we would like
Yes.
to ask for your experience as a gay single mother.
Kuan should siya, ma'am. What she say ganina sa nag-phrase nga ning kuan ni Salty, dili jud siya lalim kung ikaw rang usa nga ning buhi sa usa ka bata. Pero magkinahanglan jud kag kuan company. Like for example, ma'am, kana bitaw magmasakit bitaw ang atong anak. Nabati ra ninyo nay mo, ma'am?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yes, okay. Kana jud magmasakit ang bata nga nang susmo jud na siya grabe ka difficult bitaw being a solo parent. Maluya chinimog pangita kag paagi bisag kanang kuan kana. Even though nga nag-work ko sa LGU sa kuan Bugo, kuan mo ko by the way, dahil ma'am no, kuan ko kanang staff ko ni Vice Mayor sa siyudad sa Bugo, kunya kanang as a job order niya. Kaya you know na already ang job order dili jud kay dako nga sweldo. Kan I start from kuan ang bata din jud gikan. Okay ra siya ako i-share from the beginning, ma'am.
Yes. So Juno would like to share with us. So she also said that it's very hard to be like what Medi said. It's very hard to raise a child alone, and then so especially when the child gets sick, so it's very hard. So she would like to share now how she became a mother.
Okay. Okay, I became a mother. Let's start. Before I have boyfriend with the other country as ma'am. And then, akong giingnan akong pag-umangkon nga ganahan ko na anak. So, nagsabot mi sa akong afam nga kanang kuan, inana kanang true inject bitaw ma'am. Kanang wala lang gibuhat sa in person ba. Unya nga akong pagumangko ni okay ra sad siya kay para ikatiguang daw nako no koy matiman sa kuha. Nya dayon dito gi-incheck sa iya ha. Nya ako na pong nagasto sa iya pagpanganak sa private nga kuan center. Muna nga nasa ko ang bata after that all nya mara siya gitawag mara siya may pagka something half na siya ang bata kay dili man jud totally Pinoy ang nagkuan sa iya ha. Nga dayon sige kan jud sa pag-anak sa iya until nga ang iyang edad karon kuan na siya nag 5 years old na ang akong baby. 5 years old na siya nya.
So,
Pag start yes ma'am.
so the audience here is giving you an applause. Congratulations for having a baby, for taking care of for being a mother.
Yes, thank you so much.
So,
Yeah.
what is the
Yes, ma'am.
what is the support that you need for as a single mother?
Before ma'am, kanang wala pa ko diri sa LGU, ang work jud ako as kuan because I kuan in first man ko ning graduate ko college jud niya. Ning first ko vocational course like cosmetology. Yan ako'y parlor sa una, mo na siya ako kuan ang income na ko mo ako ipalit og gatas. Nga dayon mo na siya from the start nga na ang batas ako Nga dayon after that nga mura man siya kanang ako yung gikuan sa akong kaugalingon nga mura kanang nagkinahanglan jud ang batag para future niya. So nagpasalamat sad ko sa buotan kay nga Vice Mayor sa Bogo. Iya kong giingnan nga kanang may pamo trabaho ka diri kay pugihan man di ay ka kay para sa imong anak.
I would like to we would like to ask you if you are able to avail of the solo parent nga benefits that given to solo parents. Kung if you are already recognized really as the parent of your
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I am already recognized, ma'am. I have already also the ID. Yes, I have already the ID for the solo parents, ma'am. I recognize that wa ko kaabil kay na ako nagtrabaho sa diri sa LGU sa Bugo.
yes. So
But it's okay.
daghang salamat Juno for your inspiring story. For being
Yes, you're welcome, ma'am.
for working hard to be a mother and also being a proud mother of a 5-year-old.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Daghang salamat, and there are the men
Why
here.
isa pa yan, ma'am?
The men here are so happy. The Gen Z here in on site are so happy regarding your story. So daghang salamat.
Yeah.
Juno.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Daghang salamat ug maayong hapon. So now daghang salamat to our sharers, to Medi and to Juno for sharing their story as mothers. And so now we would like to ask Malu to tell us about concrete experiences of single mothers. So stay tuned for the performance, the fun performance of our talented and guapo Gen Z staff here at Pamgrass to show us magkagud og maglubok. So Malu, please tell us about experiences of single parents, solo parents, single mothers that you know.
Well, I will not say the names, but I will say there's a scenario one. I know of people, scenario one nga, natagam na maminyo sila kay they are in a violent relationship. So, ang tendency nila is that they keep having relationships, no? And nahitabo is, tulo ang iyang anak, unya, lain-lain siya og amahan. Oh, but maayo na lang sad kay financially, ang kanay mga fathers, maayo man sad kay muhatag sa iya, so okay lang, walay problema. But up to now, she has not really been committed to having a partner. So single parent lang yun siya with 3 children. There's also a scenario nga related sa violence against women. Ang question niya is, ganahan ba siya mag-single parent or dili? Repeated ang iyahang ang violence, no? It's a cycle of violence at home. Aduna siya tulo ka anak, pero ang iyaha is she cannot decide. Will she be a single parent or not? Kaya mag-single siya, matud pa niya, wala siya financially, no? Gamay siya sweldo, usaon niya pagpakaon siyang anak. What will happen to the children? Will they be with the father or ari baka sa iyaha? So it's really a confused and messed up kaayo nga unsa ni scenario for her. There's also another scenario for the teenage mom. Unsa, what is the future for her? Kung eskwela ba siya, padayon ba siya, or dili na? Kaya mo atiman na lang siya siyahang anak. Kinahanglan ba siya mangitag trabaho? Asa man siya, mungadto pa siya sa testa? Or asa man siya, mag-open siya sari-sari store? Asa man siya mangitag kapital ni ini? No? Unya, what will be the future for her? Mangita siya afam? Magpa-sexy na lang siya? Aron makakuan siya, makakita siya, who knows? No? There are success stories also in that regard. So these are the scenarios of single parents, and maybe those in the audience will say, asa ka kung dapitan ni ini, no? Oh. I'm also a single parent, and I have decided to really take care of my daughter, Mutya. By the way, she's watching. Thank you, Mutya, may palangga. And I have tried relationships, which was the reason why I wrote The Winter Lady, because it failed. But then again, I learned my lesson very well. Thank you.
Daghang salamat, Balu, for sharing stories about women who are single mothers and also sharing your story. Now, before we ask you the final question, we would like to uh, to show you our photos of our heritage trail, and then also to give you this intermission, this song from our team. So, do we have the photos? So this is our guest who tried to have to experience. This is magkagud. So this is shredding coconut traditionally, and that's how. So actually there are okay, that one at the side. Did you see that one? She was that was another guest whom I asked to join the adventure trail, the heritage adventure trail. She was in a robe because she just came from the saltwater dipping pool, and they were drinking cocktails at the bar at 𝙎𝙤𝙩𝙝𝙬, and I was telling them, join, and then maay kay mo kagud ang German o, ingon din siya, and then she said, yes ma'am, maay gid na mo kagud ang mga German. So they really are good in shredding coconuts. So, and then this is another guest, the one who tried paglubok, which is pounding the unhusked grains. So do we have other pictures? So we have also sungka here, and the Visayan dance, tinikling. So our guests are able to experience this chores, traditional chores and traditional game of the Visayans, and also this traditional dance of birds. So tinikling is from later, right? So so of course we have we would now like our performers already around. So for the Battle of Hugot Lines, they are not here, but can we read can you show me the comments from the Battle of Hugot Lines so we can read some of them in a while. So stay tuned also for our trivia quiz with exciting prizes. So we have our trivia quiz for those on site and those online. So those online would be able to win exciting prizes also. We have 3 questions, one from those on site, for those who have not yet won. And second and third questions would be answered online. The second is only for those who are online but not here physically. So now we would like to hear the song from they said this is a very popular song here in Cebu right now. So we have our interns, our guapo and talented interns dressed in bahag. So they are, because of course the Cebuanos, but they had no tattoos. So the Cebuanos in the past only wore bahag. The men, the Visayans, wore bahag with tattoos, but their bahag is improvised. They have pants under it. So we have with us right now Joshua and Arman from the engineering department, interns from the engineering department of Palmgrass. They are still in college, and their hours are now ending. So before they go, they want to show us their talent. So they are actually our crew in our events, our heritage events. May we show them already? So we have can you see them? So they are going to pwede gamay ko sila dako. so so you would be seeing them perform a song. So Arman also in our Thanksgiving gathering in our Thanksgiving gathering just last January, they actually danced a very sexy dance. And also, in that Thanksgiving gathering, so it was a simple dinner for the staff at Palmgrass, because instead of having a party, the staff at Palmgrass donated the budget for the relief of the Odette survivors in Hilutungan Island, right? So and in that gathering, these talented and guapo men showed us their dance, and now they would show us their song.
Hello. May hapon, ako si Mr. G.
Ako si Mr. O. Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Kung ako'y ulitaw,
Kung ako'y ulitaw, gusto kong mag-asawa. Unsa man, pilion ko, kanang mukagod og lobi. Mukod-kod siya, mukod-kod sad ko, magkinod ko raming duha.
Ito
Ang gabi, ang lubi. Kung ako'y ulitaw, gusto kong mag-asawa.
Unsa man?
Pilion ko, kanang labandera. Gusto siya, gusto sad ko, gusto kaming duha. Ito ang gabi, buwa-buwa perme. Kung ako'y ulitaw, gusto kong mag-asawa. Pilion ko, kanang maestra. Mutudlo siya, mutudlo sad ko, tinudlo ay kaming duha. Ito ang gabi, matudloan perme. Kung ako'y ulitaw, gusto kong maasawa. Pilion ko, kanang tindera barbecue. Mutog siya, mutog sad ko, mutugtog kaming duha. Ito nga gabi, matugan permi.
Thank you.
So, daghang salamat for that performance. A round of applause for our talented performers. So, for those who are not Visaya, so pardon for the if we had technical problems. So, so the song was about magkagud ug lubi, like magkagud. I would shred coconuts and she would shred coconuts. We would be shredding each other, something like that. So and then muglusak. We would be about pounding rice. Maglubok siya, maglubok sad ko. We would be pounding each other, something like that. And then of course, until nighttime, we will still be shredding coconuts. That's the song. And then there's also a line there that I would find someone who knows how to wash clothes. We would be washing clothes. I would wash clothes. She would wash clothes. until the nighttime there would be bubbles. So that's the song. So the song is a fun song in Cebu. So thank you for the performance. So and then also like we would I would find someone if I would get married if I'm single if I would get married I would find someone who knows to barbecue. We would she would pierce, mutuhog siya. She would pierce, and I would also pierce. Magtinuhugay ming duha. We would be piercing each other until tungang gabi. So that's the song. So anyway, those kinds of songs and music and literature and poems are very popular in the Visayas in Cebu because Cebuano and Visayan literature is usually witty, humorous, and with, of course, double meaning. The men and the women, the Visayans like sex. Right. So in the songs and in the poems, it's usually there are most of the time there are sexual undertones in the songs, and the people find it so funny. So we discussed that in our August event last year regarding humorous poems when we launched the book by Adonis Dorado, a book of humorous poems, and it becomes humorous because of the sexual undertones, and it's how Visayans do it. So there is a question actually here from Henry Colina Ito. What made single mothers mas lami compared to the mothers who are with their husbands or partners? So why would actually we would ask this to Malu, but before that I would like to share with you that I have a friend who who got single because her husband died. And then when she got single, she told me, I realized mas lami ang single. It's good not to have a husband. And that's her version. Because she said she was able to do things that she was not able to do when she had a husband. But of course, she took care of her two kids. So anyway, we would now like to ask. So there is a sharing also from Ria Mikada Mapalo. I am a single parent and became pregnant at 16. I can relate to their sentiments, especially when it comes to judgments received from society. But I took those challenges as my push into succeeding. Teacher na ako ngayon and a CSE coordinator of my school. Mabuhay and single parents. Congratulations, Ria. We are so proud of you because of your hard work and sacrifice. And the audience here is applauding you and clapping their hands for you for your being a strong woman and a responsible mother for your children, for your kids. So now we would like to also we would read some of the hugot lines from our audience because those who would battle are not here. So before that, we would, and then stay tuned for the trivia quest wherein you will win exciting prizes. So we have this question for Malu. Lami ba ang single mom?
Well, not really. No, not really. Because in the experiences of some people I know, and also on a personal note, it takes a lot from a woman physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, spiritually. No? There are cases nga, doon na kay, unsa ni siya, mag-depression ka, and you need support for that. There are cases nga, you have a question of faith. The faith dimension is very much challenged. No? And again, there's really a need for a support system for both the woman and the child. It takes a village, it takes a nation. And in the experiences also of the people that I know, nobody wants to be, labi na katong naminyo, no? Nobody wants to have a failed marriage. Pero in cases nga, there's already a lot of dynamics about difficult relationships. Maabot man gyud sa punto nga ang babae mo desidir na lang na siya to become single parent. Unya, in the course of that story of single parenting, ganahan paghapon siya mo explore that maybe there's another relationship that will work out but maybe there's not. Oh, there's none. So, Ona, there's a lot of courage for a woman. Katong gingon ni Ria kaganina, there's a lot of courage for a woman to be a single parent, but laban lang yun. Mao yun na siya, mao na ang muhang padulngan. Go on, move on, and be happy.
Daghang salamat, Malu. So now we would like to read some excerpts from Malu's book, Winter Lady. So do we have already can we have the phone with the lines from the single mothers? So we have this lines from the poem by Malu that we would like to read. This is this is when she was still in love, I guess. So this is I am sorry if I wake you. My lips brush your sensualities. Locked in your French kiss, I want to dance like now. I am sorry if my hands talk too much. They enfold the breadth of your shoulders. I seek your temples. They are warm. Your lips are not forgiving. Explore my body. We are Genesis. Salamat, Malu, for that poem in Winter Lady. So she awakened, or was she born? It was Genesis because she was born. So now we would now like to give you these questions for our trivia quiz. So we have our trivia quiz question number 1. So this is for those on site. So do we have the hugot lines from our audience? So we have these because our on-site audience who said they would join our event were not able to be here. We would like to read some of the answers or the lines from our audience. So lami ang single mom kay kasakit ug kalipay dawaton ang tanan ay sulot des mga inahan. So she says, Marco Di Julio Tumakin says, lami ang single mom because they are able to they accept everything, the pain and the joy. So sa kasakit ug kalipay dawaton ang tanan. So from Sonax Tipait, taas na og experience, taas og pasensya sa mga bata ug sa mahimong bana. So they have more experience and they have more patience for children and for their future husband. And lami ang single mom kay buutan. Good. Usa nang Bisaya English ang buutan? Good. They are buutan. And then kamao. And then strong, independent women kay ang pagkuwang og amumas amahan iyang gihatag isip amahan o ginahan sa iyang mga anak. So dili ikalimod, madasigon og malipayon siya kauban sa iyang mga anak sa kalisod ug kaharuhay. So because the single mothers are strong, independent women. So there are so many more. It is in our Facebook page. So those are just a few of the hugot lines from our audience. So now get ready to those on site. So please, kisa may qualified ani? Are these qualified or these have already won in previous trivia quiz? So kisa may qualified ani? Who is our newcomer? Kadaog na mo trivia? Kadaog din ni sila,
Kadaog
pero,
din sila.
pero sige lang, give chance lang gihapon. So, kaya wala may lain. So, this is one question. If the on-site audience would not be able to answer, we would give this question to our online audience. So, the question is, so this is, if you would like to answer the question, you raise your hand and I would recognize you, and please go to the microphone and give your answer. So the question, so if you are all able to win this, you would win our cake of the month, makalumay ang kalanay, temptingly melts. Temptingly melts. So, makalumay ang kalanay, cake of the month, our version of the Rocky Road cake. So, this is the question. What is the Visayan term for the healers that prepared the women or the girls for marriage? So, what is the Visayan term for the healers? So, this is, so those who would like to answer, raise your hand. So, yes, please go to the microphone. So, we have our on-site audience. I guess he is here with us for the is this for the first time? No? Yes. So, please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. I'm Victor Aragon Santolorin. I'm a good friend of Professor Borinaga. I thought I was rather thinking that he would be here, so I came. I didn't know he won't be coming.
Yes, but online.
Yes.
So what is your answer? The first name is
Victor.
Victor. Sige, Victor, what's your answer?
Babaylan.
Congratulations! You win a makalumay ang kalanay. So, temptingly melts in your mouth. So, congratulations for listening and getting the correct answer. So, Dr. Rolly, so we have Victor. Ha? So, unsa? No sound.
Okay na.
So, sorry for the technical problem and the audio problem. Congratulations to Ferdinand Pagao for getting the correct answer. So I was saying the words a while ago, but I had no audio. Wala ko yung audio kanina. Pag-announce na. So Ferdinand Pagao is the supervisor of the Department of Education, Taguig and Pateros. Thank you very much, Ferdy, for supporting our heritage events and always joining our events. So congratulations, you are going to get the ilbas or the herbs, hulong kawa, kawa bath, or you can also choose the tinua or tinola hulong kawa with tanglad, sea salt and ginger, or you can also choose the flower, the buwak hulumkawa. And we have other hulumkawa at Palmgrass de Cebu Heritage Hotel, Alima Native Massage. So now we would like to give you this third and final question. So everyone can answer, except those who have already won. And you will answer through the comment section of our event page. So the question, you would be able to win a soak and chill at Palmgrass Cebu Heritage Hotel. This is soaking for 5 hours at our saltwater this is soaking at our dipping pool, saltwater dipping pool, and chilling at our Rooms for Heroes for 5 hours at Palmgrass Cebu Heritage Hotel. Our rooms are named after heroes, and we have in the headboard you would see a bio sketch or a description of the hero to whom that room or floor is named in honor of. So the question is this: according to Pigafetta in Cebu, at what age was the female genitalia gradually opened? So according to Pigafetta, at what age was when they visited Cebu? So please answer through the comment section. So those who are not in Cebu, you would be able to you will be able to avail of this when you come to Cebu. So we can no longer hear you. No audio. So unsa man ni? So nana koy audio? Do I have is the audio back? So we have. So yes. So our team is actually we have adjusting to our new setup. And so we would like to ask you to answer through the comment section for this question. So at what age, according to Pigafetta, would the female genitalia be gradually opened for to prepare? So so the ones here are not answering anymore because they have already won. You can still answer, but you will not be the winner. so we have been discussing that. So of course, Antonio Pigafetta was describing the sexual organs of the men, and of course, he was also describing the gadgets in what he had seen. And also, he also mentioned the vocabulary at that time. The Bisaya word at that time for the penis is utin. And the Bisaya word 500 years ago for the vagina was bilat. And the testicles was buto. So we are using more than 500-year-old words. It survived until now. But unfortunately, right now, it is so hard for us to say the words of those sexual organs, because I don't know why. Because of our education, or is it taboo to mention the sexual organs, which is just one part, another part of the body, and you would say for the vagina flower, And for the pennies bird. And then 501 years ago, Pigafetta already know that the vagina in the Visayas was bilat, and the penis in the Visayas was
Utin.
utin. So so we have no answer yet. So did someone answer? So not yet. So can someone answer here in on no, no. The answer is you already know the team knows the answer. So hala, no one can no. Should I have another question? Is the question very hard? Huh? Very hard question.
Maybe they were not able to listen.
And also they
Earlier.
were not able to they will not able to hear the
To
proper
hear, oo.
age.
Oo.
I mean when I said
Dr.
it was
Borinaga
me who
discussed
said it. So do we have another question so that we can have a winner? Or wala na gyud ni winner? Oh, someone already answered correctly. Unfortunately, Ferdy can no longer be a winner because he already won the he already won the hulum kawa. So we have a correct answer from, is Ria a single mom also? This is from Ria Micaela Alipuon Mapalo. Congratulations, Ria, our pretty and beautiful and strong single mom, for getting the correct answer. We will be able to win a soak at our therapeutic saltwater dipping pool and chill at our Rooms for Heroes for 5 hours. So when you come to Cebu, are you from Cebu, Rhea? So congratulations, everyone, to those who answered correctly. So now we would like to get the closing statements first from Dr. Rolly, our panelist, who is in Palo, and please greet our audience. We have here Victor, who is. Do we still have Dr. Rolly? So may we have Dr. Rolly for the closing. Dr. Rolly, someone here came on site for you. This is
Okay,
Victor.
amigo mi si Victor Santolorin, basically.
Yes.
I have seen him from childhood until he became an adult. So we are good friends with his family. May hapon.
Yes, we would like to ask your closing words for this event today, tracing motherhood in pre-colonial times until today, and the situation of especially single mothers.
Okay, salamat sa inyong pag-attend.
And then-
Kahibaw ko.
Dr. Rolly, we would also like to hear from you more about the Tumao and the Timawa and the Hayahay in future events, and maybe you could mention them right now. Sige, let's hear the words from Dr. Rolly.
Okay, so I'm sure some of you are wondering why a male resource person had to speak before this forum on single mom, but I have actually studied all these events of our pre-colonial culture in the context of actually trying to prepare for the quincentennial of the arrival of the Magellan expedition in the Philippines. So as I see that there is a lot of interest in this topic. Anyway, as I have said all along, there's a lot of single motherhood throughout our colonial years, but there is not enough documentation. And I guess single mothers out there can help actually try to reconstruct what really happened throughout our historical experience. It can be done. Daghang salamat.
Daghang salamat, Dr. Rolly. We are so happy of you sharing your knowledge about pre-colonial Visayas, about history. So we would be seeing more of Dr. Rolly and his sharing about the social classes in pre-colonial Visayas and other social issues that is very relevant, other social issues that are relevant today. So that we have already that have roots in our history. So we would also like to get the closing words from our on-site um, panelist, Malu Aloro.
Yes,
Gary.
thank you very much for having me. I'd like also to thank, I'm here in behalf of Regional Director Attorney Bruce Ragas from the Commission on Population and Development. And we'd like to say that POPCOM 7 continues to provide services with our responsible parenthood and family planning. We have our adolescent health and development program and our population development integration. We are located in Manila, Cebu City. So you can come and join us.
So, daghang salamat, Malu. But before you go, I remember that we have this question from Gary Mayer, a guest at Pamgras, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. His question was about, he is a foreigner. He is not a Filipino, and he is a foreigner who would like to help single mothers, and he would like to date a single mother. But then, foreigners are not allowed to bring a child outside alone outside of the house or something like that. Or please enlighten us about this before we end.
Yes, I actually posted what Attorney Bruce Ragas responded to his query at Facebook. No, it's a long one. It's very long, but it has something to do with the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act. This is Republic Act 9208, and also the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act of 1992, or Republic Act 7610. I think Attorney Bruce more or less advised Mr. Mayor that what's in the law is really to protect our children. And since he is a foreigner, what's in the law is that the protection of Filipino children against trafficking. So there's also the advice there that if he wants to really be more or less apprised or advised about the law, he can write to Congress on the matter to make some amendments so that, or revise the law so that the foreigners will be able to will be able to more or less have what they want of bringing minors with them without their mothers. But that's also very risky, no? Okay, so it's already there posted. No, in the Facebook comment is a long one, but this has something to do with the trafficking, the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act.
Daghang salamat, Malu, for representing POPCOM and for giving us the knowledge about current issues affecting single mothers and single parents and teenage mothers. So we are so happy that we are able to talk about these very not really talked about issues about motherhood. We usually do not celebrate specifically single mothers, but we made it a point to celebrate the hard work and our admiration for single mothers, the strong, independent women who are able to raise their children, but who needs really the support of the community and the whole country, especially in laws and programs affecting the family. And of course, it is not only single mothers who need support, but all families, especially those living below the poverty line. And it is our wish that in the future, the mothers would be really happy during Mother's Day because everyone is helping. The government and the laws and the programs are for the benefit of women, the family, and the children, for the education, the health, and welfare, for the economic upliftment of those families, especially the urban poor, the farmers, and also everyone who is living below the poverty line. So we invite you once again to our upcoming events. On May 23, we will have, May 28, we will have our event with the theater veterans in the Visayas with Dayag, 500 years of stories and performances in the Visayas. So we would trace when were when was the first recorded performance in Cebu or in the Visayas. And then on June 18, this is another fun and enlightening event. Gikamang naka. Did someone crawl up? How's that? How? I don't know how to translate that in Tagalog. Ano ba sa Tagalog ng gikamang naka? So,
It has a different
did someone
connotation.
crawl? Did someone already crawl? Gikamang naka?
Surreptitiously, in secrecy.
So, gikamang naka, elections in Visayan history. So, we would be tracing elections in the Visayas. And also, we would, we be with us again also in more events in July as we celebrate the birthday of Cebu hero, General 𝙎𝙤𝙩𝙝𝙤𝙛. We would also like to inform you that our panelist, Malu Aloro, was one of the script writers, or she edited the script for our play, 𝙎𝙤𝙪𝙝. 𝙎𝙤𝙪𝙝 is a play in honor of General 𝙎𝙤𝙪𝙝. Quicker than lightning, 𝙎𝙤𝙪𝙝. And our food delivery is also named 𝙎𝙤𝙪𝙝. And also our album is 𝙎𝙤𝙪𝙝. And our play depicting the battle of 𝙎𝙤𝙪𝙝 and also the struggle of the Cebuanos again, and in the revolution against Spain in 1898 is entitled 𝙎𝙤𝙪𝙝. So we thank our partners in our event, the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, the National Quicentennial Committee, Museo Sugbo, Central Visayas Association of Museums, the Iyande Heritage Center, 𝗠𝗏 2020, and Bisdak Pride. We thank those who shared their stories as single mothers, the LGBT from Bisdak Pride, Juno of Bugo, and also Medi from Junquera Street, Camagayan. So we would like to show you again this song that we made in honor of single mothers, those who are left behind when their partners went abroad. And so this is the pain of separation, of longing, but also a story of a mother moving on and moving forward and carrying on and having success in taking care of her child. So this is the song Paglangyaw. Daghang salamat ug malipayong adlaw sa mga inahan.
Thank you.
Di ko ni may hatod.
Tinignan mo tanaw, hindi ko nga mabiyaan sa mga anak.
Nagstorya naman tayo, di ba? Para raman ni nato.
Pagkasakit sa imong paglangyaw, dili lalim ang imong paglakaw. Tumangkagul ang mitabuning akong dughan, buot untap kang hawiran. Nganong ang layo nga lapyahan, mas gamhanan man kaysa init nga halok o kakos ning adlaw. Gihandong ko ang pagbalik mo ning akong giliran, kay misaad ka nako. Ako ra gyud hangtod sa katumanan, ipaabot ko ang pagbalik mo tungod kay may pasalig ka. Ang milunop nga kamingaw, ang di masuk pagod nga kahawan. Dili mapun ang di matambalan ang kasakit. Hangtod ni akan nasa kiliran. Ihandom ko ang pagbalik mo ning akong giliran. Kay bisaad ka na ko, ako ragyod hangtod sa katumanan. Ipaabot ko ang pagbalik mo tungod kay may pasalig ka sa daghang pag-ibig. Ako gihigugma, buhaton ang tanan aron ang gugma matuman. At ang gugma na ning kamot pagtulay sa gilayon. Masampayan ang gagahapon alang sa bagong kaugmaon. Gihandom ko ang pagbalik mo ning akong giliran. Kay misaad ka na ko, ako ragyod hangtod sa katumanan. Ipaabot ko ang pagbalik mo tungod kay may pasalig ka sa daghang pag-ibig. Ako gihigugma, buhaton ang tanan aron ang gugma matuman. Mga saata bituon sa langit, mikislap mitan-ag sa kangit-ngit. Katamis taliwala sa kapait, mitunaw sa tig-ang nga kasing-kasing. Nanumpata kung kuyog kang tuhan, gugmang gamhanan makahimo sa tanan. Misata kung kitang duha kauban, malatas na to ang layong kadagatahan. Mapatag ang habog na kabukiran, mausap ang sa kalibutan. gihawiran. Dungan natong bag-o ng kalibutan. Punon sa kahoy ang napuunasan. Pabulakon ang nalayang tanaman. Misatan kung kitang duha kauban. Malatas na to ang layong kadagatan. Mapatag ang hapong na kabukiran. Maosabanaw sa kalibutan. Hangtod kanusa magtahong. Kining akong dughan. Mibanos ang katugnaw di maatos. At lamisalop sa imong paglakaw. Magulat ba hangtod sa hangtod sa kahangturan. Misata kung kitang duha kauban. Malakas na to ang layong karagatan. Mapatag ang hapog nga kabukiran.